Today we're going to talk to another very important person in the Warriors organisation. It's an administration side this time, and our CEO, Wayne Scurrah. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Wayne.
Yeah, g'day Steve. Wayne Albert Scurrah, born in 1960, so I'm a 60s boy. I was born in Auckland, raised up in Auckland. Went to the same high school as John Hart, Mount Roskill Grammar, so we're both grammar boys in that sense, and been at the club for 3 years now, mate.
So we go through our schooling life and we get to what you're going to do after school. You've decided to go the administration path. What did you do before the Warriors and what made you get into administration?
I think like a lot of people, mate, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I got my girlfriend pregnant when she was 17 and I was 17, and we headed off to Australia. So I lived in Sydney for 4 years and sort of fell into sales and became a sales rep for a food company over there, and I did pretty well. And the guy I replaced while he was sick, he got sacked after a month because there's so many good comments about me. So I sort of fell into that, and before long I took over from the boss's son's territory, and from there really grew into more of the marketing and did a bit of stuff through New South Wales University and through Otago universities, and really got into general administration and sort of picked up my finance skills and all the other bits that go with a CEO's type role.
What got you to the Warriors, and what did you find when you got to the club, and what were your fears, I suppose, when you did decide to take on the job?
Well, running North Harbour Stadium, we didn't have a lot of events, so I started to tender for events. So I got on well with Chris Anderson when we first got a Warriors game through the Sharks at North Harbour Stadium. He was still coach of the Kangaroos there, and I met Colin Love through him, and we put a bid in for a Kiwis Kangaroos test, so we got 2 or 3 of those. And so that's how I got into the league sort of activity, and then I started to put bids in for Warriors pre-season games, which we got quite a few of them. We're still doing that now. Through all of that, met John Hart, and when the previous CEO, Mick Watson, left, he asked me to whack in an application for the role, and it's been fantastic. 3 years of turmoil, but it's been great, and it's a fantastic club.
Have you seen a lot of parts of the business grow that you've envisaged, or is there parts that you'd like to see get even better as we go forward?
Yeah, I think one of the big things we're working on is really giving a bit better service to the people that support us, and mainly I'm talking about members of the Vodafone Warriors and the sponsors. And we're really getting to a stage now. I think we've got a club that's healthy and vibrant, and people enjoy being part of it. Whether you're working for it or you're a member, you're still part of the club. We're putting a lot more resources back into football now, and as you would have seen this year, one of the best things we're all seeing is the development of young Kiwis coming through, where we've probably given 40 Kiwis new jobs in the last year through the Toyota Cup and the Vodafone Junior Warriors.
The relationships between our key stakeholders, the NRL, the New Zealand Rugby League, the Auckland Rugby League, that's obviously improved over the last few years. But what are the sort of things, you go to meetings all the time, CEO meetings and other types of meetings, what is spoken about at those meetings, and what are the sort of things that both the NRL do for us and we do for the NRL?
The one thing that's been clear to me over the 3 years is how much the NRL and the Australian Rugby League want the Vodafone Warriors to be in the NRL, and in fact how much they want us to win the thing. So that's still out there, because it's growing the league product for them as well, and making league a bigger product worldwide. It's in all of our interests, and so a lot of the discussions at NRL CEOs meetings are about things like growing revenue, how we get more people in the gates, how we grow membership. I mean, all the clubs have the same needs, all have the same type of sponsors, how we give more back to sponsors, and how we give more back to the fans, and really make it what it already is, which is one of the best competitions of any level in the world.
This year we've had the introduction of the NYC, the under-20s. How's your take been on that, both for the Warriors and for the NRL as a whole, being able to have these under-20s playing a competition every single week?
Firstly, everyone's been delighted by the standard, and for us to have so many young guys come through and play first grade this year in our first year, when we basically were the only club that had to start from nothing. We had a handful of players. We had to go out and recruit players and coaches and trainers and physios and all of that sort of stuff. So from our point of view, it's been fantastic, and for Russell Packer and Ben Madalino to be named in the Toyota Cup Team of the Year in their first year, as well as making their first grade debuts, and a lot of guys behind them like Kevin Locke and Daniel O'Regan. I mean, this is a fantastic guy, Elijah Taylor. There's a lot of guys that are going to come through and play first grade. So that's been good, and it's allowed us to catch up in terms of development. So where Australian teams have the Queensland Cup and Jersey Flag and all the other comps, we've really had nothing to fully develop internally. So it's going to help us catch up more and more so, and I don't think we've seen the best of what Toyota Cup is going to do for us. For the NRL, I think it's stolen the lead on rugby and AFL in Australia. That they've got a really great youth competition. It's been well supported by sponsors. We've noticed a lot more people coming to the games earlier just to watch the Toyota Cup.
This season, how would you regard it as success, moderate or unsuccessful season for the club as a whole, both on the field and off the field?
Yeah, Gates have been a little bit down on last year, but well up on previous years. And given the weather, we've had our worst run of weather for a number of years. I'm pretty certain of that. I think we've done pretty well on Gates. Our membership's really grown a lot. The general membership grew about 1,000 and the corporate membership's gone through the roof, so we're getting a lot of great support there. Certainly of the two teams, I think everyone would say the Vodafone Junior Warriors have really led the way in a lot of ways, and that's been fantastic. The senior team, the NRL team, unfortunately injuries to people like yourself in the first game against the Storm, and then Wade before he even kicked the ball. I don't think we ever had the momentum that we wanted, and it came back late in the year, which has been a great second half performance for us. And I've been at the club for 3 years, and we've never sort of been in the 8, I think, at halfway. So this year was a typical year of that, and I think we'd all like to be more competitive from the outset and really get the momentum that you need to drive forward. Saying that, both teams are still in the running for the finals, so still a lot to play for.
And finally, what are your aspirations or goals as CEO of the club going forward in, say, next year and the short future? Looking forward, where do you want the club to be and what do you want it to be recognised as?
More than anything, anyone who's involved in the club to be immensely proud, whether it's a player or myself, anyone in the admin team, a fan, to say, it's my club and I'm really proud to be part of it. We want to be successful on the field, and ultimately that's to win a grand final. So, that's the thing we're all trying to aim for. And I guess, to put ourselves on a pedestal and say we'd like to be the best club in the NRL and the best professional sporting club in New Zealand. And if we can achieve those things, we've done pretty well.
All right, mate. Thank you very much. We just spoke to Wayne Scarry, our CEO. So another person that you've got to know a little bit more about behind the scenes at the Warriors.